Hey friends, and welcome back to the channel. Today y'all get a rare glimpse inside of our home while we go through and talk to you about some interesting things, or at least I think they're interesting.
Very interesting.
We're gonna go over our goals for 2024. Now, some of these are going to surprise you. We are getting completely away from one type of animal. We have some more books coming out. It's just a whole shebang, and I want to go through each of these things with y'all so y'all know what to expect from us in 2024, and I would love to hear what you have planned for 2024. Now, I absolutely believe that when you speak your goals aloud to other people, it forces you to do better and to aim towards those goals. If I just say, this is my goal for 2024, and I never say that to anybody else, I have no accountability for that goal, and it's very easy for me to back out of it. So by putting these goals out there for all of y'all to see, I am forcing myself to keep moving towards completing these goals.
No, we will accomplish great things together.
And at the end of 2024, we will look back and see what goals we accomplished, what goals we didn't, and what stood in our way for any of those goals. Alright, let's get started. I have my beautiful journal here. This was a Christmas present. It is beautiful and it sits over here on my shelf. So I thought it was the perfect place to write down all of our goals for 2024. Now, I'm going to start off with some of our homesteading goals because I know many of y'all are here just for the homesteading content. I will move on into our personal goals towards the end of the video, so if you do not want to stay and learn personal goals for our family, that's fine. That's cool. I get it. Take what you need from this video. Just make sure you let me know one of your goals for 2024 because I would love to see what you're working towards. Now, every year on top of goals, I also choose one word that I want to be something I strive for in that year. This year, my word is community. So that means I am striving to get out there, to expand my community, to rely on my community more, to build those relationships and strengthen those bonds that I've already started with my community around me. I love to be self-sufficient. I love to rely on myself, but it's hard. It is really hard, and if you have community around you who can back you up, it can make life easier. That doesn't mean you're weaker because you can still complete those tasks on your own, but it makes life easier, and that means you have more time for joy in your world. So why not do that? It's a fine line we walk, but I love having this homesteading community around me. Y'all are part of that. Sharing these goals is part of that, reaching out to community, because I'm including my community into these goals. I'm getting personal with my community. I'm getting vulnerable with my community. And that's something I'm not very good at.
I have to say your vulnerability is really freaking me out right now.
So I'm kind of taking a leap of faith here today. So community is my word for 2024. I am achieving that in another way, and that's by going to events near you. This will be the first time I ever do events that are away from my family.
Somebody once told me I needed to stop hiding in the background and get out of my comfort zone.
So the first one I have coming up is the Okie Homesteading Expo. This is at the end of March. I will be in Oklahoma, in Pryor, Oklahoma. I will be speaking there. I can't wait to see y'all there. It's going to be wonderful. I will have some of my books with me so I can sell them and sign them. I will not have any of the dispatch tools, bunny breakers, rabbit gambrels, that sort of things, because it's kind of hard to take those on an airplane. So those will be left behind, but the books I will be shipping there, and I can't wait to see y'all and maybe sign some books for y'all. So I'll see y'all in Oklahoma. Another event I have coming up this spring is the Keepers of the Old Ways. This is near the beginning of April. I will be there for 2 days. This is in Dothan, Alabama, and I will be speaking both days on raising rabbits. I'm debating on if I should do a beginner's intro on day 1 and go more in depth on day 2, or do the same speech day 1 and day 2 so that those who want to come see me can also get to other presentations as well and not feel like they're having to miss out on what I'm speaking about, things like that. So if you're going to be at Keepers of the Old Ways both days, Let me know what you want. Do you want a beginner's lesson on day 1 and depth on day 2? Or do you think I should do the same lesson day 1 and day 2? That way you can get to more presenters. I am still debating, so now is your time to give me your feedback. Now, of course, the other 2 events I will be doing this year are the Farm Where You Live events. I do these every year. I love Farm Where You Live. That is a major part of our homesteading community for each and every one of you who goes. I look forward to seeing y'all there. They are having 2 events, of course, their spring and fall events. Spring is already out, it's already announced, and it will be in Asheville, North Carolina. Again, we loved the covered arena they had last time. It really made for a great atmosphere. Nobody had to worry about any wind or sun or anything like that, and it was just a wonderful experience. And then their fall event, of course, I will be there as well. So I look forward to seeing those of y'all there. That is always in South Carolina, near the Greenville area of South Carolina. Last year we held it right outside of Clemson University in the fall event. I'm not sure if they're going to hold it there again or not, so stay tuned for more details on that. If you were on the western side of South Carolina or the Georgia, Tennessee area and you want to come to that event, stay tuned. I will always pass out more details on that when I have that, but make sure to follow Farm Where You Live on Facebook and Instagram to always get those details. So that's 4 events already. Okie Homesteading Expo, Keepers of the Old Ways, Farm Where You Live Asheville, Farm Where You Live South Carolina, possibly Clemson area, and then the Women Who Prep Conference is an online event that I think is also held in April. And for that, I will be demonstrating how to butcher a rabbit in a step-by-step video format. So if you have questions, you're looking to learn how to butcher rabbits, check out the Women Who Prep Conference online and attend it. There are some wonderful speakers and presenters that are lined up. And the best thing about that being online is that you don't have to miss out on other presentations. You can always watch them. They do have some live streams that will be going on, some Q&A panels, things like that. So check that out. Women Who Prep, they are amazing. They really encourage women to prepare for the future, to put up food storage, to gain knowledge and skills, to be more self-reliant and more resilient without having to rely on others. And this gives you the opportunity to better protect, feed, nourish, care for your family and yourself. Now, on top of those, big news, I will not be speaking at, but I will be vending at the Homesteading Festival. This is the one put on by Rory Feek in Tennessee. It comes in June this year, right before our anniversary, so we're doing it as an anniversary trip. Declan at this moment will not be attending with us. He will be going and staying with his grandparents, because I think that would be a more fun of a weekend for him, while we get the opportunity to be at our booth and talk to everybody who wants to come up. So if you're going to Rory Feek's Homesteading Festival, please stop by our booth and talk to us. Kenneth will be there with his Bunny Breaker Duos, Dispatch Tools, Gambrels. I will be there with my books, and I will have the Farmer Declan books with me as well. So I can't wait to see y'all there. Now, those are how I'm getting out into the community this year, how I'm really reaching out to each of y'all. It's going to be fun. It's going to be trying as it pushes me outside of my comfort zone. Now, other homesteading goals for 2024 that I have is to can at least one item every single month throughout the year. And I'm not talking like a small batch here or there. I want to do big batches as much as possible throughout the year so that I am not overwhelmed, but I am building our food stores. We really have been pushing ourselves to take our favorite items and to be able to recreate those homemade, but I like to have convenience foods on my shelf, and one of our favorites is like baked beans. Last year I canned baked beans and they were so good.
Yeah, that's definitely where it's at with baked beans.
Kenneth's only complaint with them was that I canned them in pint size instead of quart size, and so when he wanted seconds, there wasn't any. This year I'm going to can them in quart size, and I will can more of them. I plan to do enough to have at least 1 quart per month, but I wouldn't mind if we did 2 quarts per month or whatever, because it's such an easy side just to grab off the pantry shelf and to throw with a meat and a veggie, or meat and mashed potatoes or something like that, and it just really makes it work well. I love having canned baked beans. Another thing I plan on canning is carrots. I want to can carrots. I've never canned them before, but this is going to be the year that gets done. The other things that I have lined up is still a bit of a mystery. I'm sure there will be some canned meats in there. I love to buy meat on sale and to can it up so I have it. Canned rabbit is one of my favorite things to put on the shelf when we go through butchering a lot of our rabbits. But I don't know, we'll have to see. So if you have your favorite canned items, family approved items, please drop those down in the comments below so I have an idea of things to can in the future. My goal right now is just at least one thing every single month. So at the end of the year, I have 12 things canned and put up on my shelves. More is always better, but 12 is going to be my minimum. Now for our land property goals, my goal is to plant 5 fruit trees this year. Bushes I'm going to include in that because they are fruit producing bushes, things like that, but I want to plant 5. That's not necessarily 5 different kinds, but at least 5 different trees. So I could do like 2 apples, 2 pears, a peach, or something like that, you know, just 5 trees. Next, I want to clear at least, at minimum, 1 acre of land. I hope in the future to expand how many animals we have on our property. But in order to do that, we have to have more grazing land. We have to have more land to move tractors on for the rabbit tractors to cut grass and weeds and stuff to be able to feed our rabbits, things like that. So we've got to take down more of these trees to be able to plant more grass, to have more land to raise animals, to help us get to more self-sufficient on our meat. I am a carnivore based eater, so I eat a whole lot of meat, and I would love if I could produce more of that meat right here on our homestead. I do want to get a greenhouse built. This has been on my goal list for 2 years now.
A greenhouse? Rad.
It has not been done. Things just seem to get in the way, but I really want to get a greenhouse built because that would make it so much easier on me to start seed. And then I want to build a carport. Unfortunately, that big old rainstorm that come through destroyed the canopy on Kenneth's old car that he is redoing. It's a Monte Carlo. He's had this car for years and just worked on it in his spare time, him and his dad. They've made a lot of progress on it, but it's not, like, it's just not where it needs to be yet. And I really want to get it under a carport where he has the better ability to work on it. It's better protected from the elements, things like that, since they put so much work into this. We had it under the little canopy, but that storm destroyed it. So I hope to be able to bring in a metal carport, lay some gravel or something like that to give him a spot for this Monte Carlo that's been with us since we got married, so for like 10 years. It deserves its own place by this point. Now our animal goals, this one is going to have a little bit of a shocker in it, and I'm sorry for those of y'all who have been with us throughout this whole journey because it might be a little sad for y'all, but we are getting out of goats.
Oh no, you can't. You're not.
I know some of y'all have been here since we brought our first goats home, have watched through us helping Loretta birth her goats. And I do enjoy goats as they are. The problem is we bought goats for dairy animals, and I cannot get Kenneth and Declan to drink goat milk. Now, I don't just drink milk by itself, so that's not something I ever had to worry about, but Kenneth and Declan do. They like to just drink milk. And so even with milking goats, I was still having to buy cow's milk from the store for them to drink, and then I would cook with the goat's milk, and it just didn't seem worth it. It did not seem worth it to have them on so much feed because I was supplementing them with alfalfa and grain, plus their hay, plus their brush during the milking and things like that. And goats, to me, just seemed to be more fragile than our other homesteading animals. They were constantly like, are they sick? Are they not sick? This goat looks bloated. Let's rub her belly. Let's do some baking soda. This goat is seeming to look a little weak. What do we do here? Does this one have pneumonia? Does this one need antibiotics? It's just been one thing after another with goats. They've not been very hardy. That may be on us. I mean, we've only had goats for 2 years now. Maybe it is something we're doing. I don't know. But we're getting out of goats. And to get out of goats, we are not wasting our goats. We are processing our goats. All the animals on our property are supposed to earn their keep, just as we need to earn our keep. There's a reason they're all here, and if they can't fulfill that need, they don't need to be here. And that is what we have lived by since we started our homestead, and that is what we're going to continue. And currently our goats do not fulfill their need. Yes, they eat brush and we have lots of brush to clear, but my rabbits eat brush too. I cut it down anyways to feed it to the goats. I cut it down to give it to the rabbits. So the goats do not meet any one need that any other animal on our property can't meet. So like I said, we will be processing them. We will be processing Loretta first. If we find it where we don't like goat meat, or we find it a difficult process because of an emotional attachment, my wonderful friend Alicia has offered to take our other goats for us and give them a home with her herd. But goats will be leaving our homestead in 2024, and we currently have no plans to bring them back. Now my goal for rabbits is to process at least 100 pounds of rabbit meat this year. I've never kept track before of how much we process. I just process them as they get of age and breed them when there's time and just keep going on that cycle. But I would like to get a good number and know how much meat we actually put in our freezer or can and put on our pantry shelf from our rabbit. And then on top of that, I hope to increase my breeding does to 10 does, and that will allow me to expand my rabbitry even farther. We only keep the best of the best in our breeding does, so I'm constantly in a fluctuation of numbers where if a doe isn't breeding well for me or does not meet body conditions, she automatically gets cut from the herd and we move on. So currently I have 5 breeding does, maybe, if I'm counting right. I've recently rearranged my rabbitry, so it's hard to remember. I had more than that to begin with. Some just have not done as well and they have gotten cut this year. So I'm looking at retaining quite a few amount of doe kits this breeding season to have as breeders next year. Now, of course, as far as our shed to house build is going, my goal would be to finish it in 2024. We have been working towards it. If you've seen our latest video where we put the back door in, you will know that that is happening. Currently, we have the walls framed. All of our windows are in. We've put our back door in. Kenneth has begun running the electrical wire. We have bought the electrical panel that's up, and we have purchased some of the insulation, mainly for the roof at this time is what we purchased first, and we're going to keep adding to it. Of course, it's a slow process because we're doing this all out of cash money instead of taking on a huge loan or debt to complete this project, and so it's kind of slow going. We're doing it all of ourselves. That makes it even slower on top of our work and running businesses and stuff like that.
There's a big list of things to do,
but our goal would be to finish the house in 2024, of course. So now, as far as books go, because I know some of y'all are here for books.
Don't you like books?
I currently do not have any rabbit books set to come out in 2024, and I am very sorry about that. I don't know what else to write in my rabbitry books. I've thought about doing one that bases on genetics and understanding rabbit genetics, a more in-depth look at it, because that really fascinates me. I've thought of doing a part 2 to feeding meat rabbits for free. I'm kind of bouncing around some ideas that maybe I will publish one in 2025, but currently, at the moment, I do not have any rabbit books coming out in 2024. However, I do have 2 Farmer Declan books planned to come out in 2024. I hope to have one out this March and then one out towards the middle of the year. The first one is Farmer Declan and the Jumping Sheep.
Now wait, what are you talking about?
Declan has been on me about wanting a book that has airplanes and sheep in it, and so we have been working together to get a storyline together that works with airplanes and sheep. So Farmer Declan and the Jumping Sheep is where that comes from. And then we do want to do a book on animal loss on the homestead that kind of helps children better understand how to deal with animal loss, because that's something that we have had to work towards with Declan, with the loss of some goats and the loss of some rabbits, and you lose baby chicks and things like that. And they say when you have livestock you have dead stock, but it's difficult for children to understand that sometimes, and they can get really attached to these animals for them just to die, because livestock sometimes just die. And so we're looking at creating a book that is Farmer Declan Says Goodbye, that will kind of help to explain that to children in a way that they can understand, and in a way that's not sad and depressing, but recognizes those emotions and kind of helps you process them. That one is definitely a work in progress, but it is something I am working towards for later on in the year. Now, someone pointed out here recently that there is a secret writing life to me that I have not shared with y'all. It is something I have been kind of secretive about, but it's part of my community. I owe it to y'all to share that life with me. And that is that I do have another writing name, a pen name as such.
I cannot believe what I'm hearing.
On Instagram, you can find me as Dani.Hight. That is DANI. Hight on Instagram, and that is where I am focusing on writing a fiction novel, a fantasy romance novel, and it's completely outside of the homesteading realm, nothing at all to do with this, but it really expands my creativity, kind of helps me with words, and it's just a lot of fun. And so I've already got the first draft of it done. I'm working on rewrites and stuff like that now on that, and I share a little bit about that on Instagram with some writing tips and editing tips and just a lot of behind the scenes writing fun, things like that. I didn't mean necessarily to hide that from y'all. I just wasn't sure that any of y'all would be interested in it, but a few people have found me and have expressed interest and want to know why I'm not sharing it. So there you go. It is shared. Dani.Hight on Instagram for fantasy romance novels. Nothing at all like you would expect from me if you've read my rabbit books. So in my 2024 goals, it is to get my current work in progress to the end. It's currently under the title of A Dance of Fire and Water, and it's been so much fun writing, and I hope by the end of the year it will be at publishing or close to publishing. And obviously we're getting more into the personal goals for 2024. So again, on that personal goal list is to read 52 books this year. So that's a lot of books. I'm already on my third book of the year. I started the year out with the Throne of Glass series, which is an 8-book series. I am on book 3 of that. So I've read Assassin's Blade, Throne of Glass, and Crown of Midnight is where we're at. So if you like Throne of Glass, let me know. I've never read them before. I'm really enjoying them though. So that is on my goals for 2024. It's a lot of fun sharing these with y'all. And then if you followed me on Instagram and Facebook, you may have seen that I shared something very personal, and it's not necessarily a goal as much as a wish and a hope for 2024, and that would be that we really hope to expand our family. So we would appreciate any prayers or well wishes you send that way toward us. I do have infertility. It's something we have battled for many, many years. I have polycystic ovarian syndrome. I know I've mentioned that on here before. But that caused 6 years of fertility treatments to get Declan, and doctors had told us he wouldn't be possible, and he was. But we are coming up on 6 years since I conceived Declan. He will be 5, and obviously we do not have another child in our family, so that is very tough for us to deal with. We do want another child. Our family does not feel complete, and I hope that 2024 is the year that brings that to us. So if you pray or send well wishes or good thoughts or whatever it is you believe in doing, we would appreciate it if you would send them our way. It's a personal goal, something I hope to share with y'all in the future that we have achieved, but for now it just stays a wish and a want and a dream. So these are all of our goals for 2024. I would love to hear your goals that you have, and if you have made it this far into the video, bless you. Thank you for being here with me, friends. As always, thank you for being part of my community. Until next time, bye. I will see you later.